and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series, live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Matt Tabacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I am joined once again by my very good friend, Mr. William Cooper of Cigar-Coop.com. William, what's up, brother?
Welcome, Matthew. Good to be back. We're back in our routine every other week,
That's
so
right.
I'm glad we're kind of getting back into that and roared and ready to go tonight. This can be a lot of fun.
So we got some people tuning in. We got Mitchell, Alan Rubin is here. Guys, what's up? Thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you for watching. If you're listening at home on the podcast networks, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you can find our podcast on all of the podcast apps, as well as on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SmokinTobacco. All of our social media links can be found at SmokinTobacco.com. This is, along with a couple other things, but for the sake of the season, feeling festive. No, it's not Christmas. It's PCA pregame season. This is the
Yep.
PCA pregame show part 1. We will be going over a little bit of pre-PCA stuff as well as a couple of kind of unrelated topics. First things first, it is second week of June. We are 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks?
4.
4. It's 4. Well, yeah. So we're like 4 weeks away from the start
Yep.
of the 2022 Premium Cigar Association trade show. This year we anticipate. I think I speak for Will and myself when I say we anticipate a bigger show than last year. I think last year we all can agree. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I think that's how I got engaged and then married. Jay Davis is with us tonight. Yeah, no, I think it's safe to say I anticipate from what I've seen and what I'm hearing, this year's show will be bigger than last. However, I don't know if it still will be, as big as years prior to that and prior to the pandemic. But I think we can expect to see more people coming than were last year. Last year's the Mulligan show. That was that first, pandemic still kind of going on, but there's a show. Show happened, in 100 days it was put together at the last minute. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to do it. And so that was like, I call that the Mulligan year. But this year I think we should see more of a, air quotes, normal show to
Agree.
some degree. Now, Coop at
Agree.
Cigar-Coop.com, you can see the big board. Now, if you don't know what that is, if you're not a Cigar-Coop follower, you're only a Smokin Tobacco follower, or if you're new to both of us, the big board at Cigar-Coop.com is the master list of everyone who will be exhibiting at the PCA trade show. Coop, I don't know if you have your big board in front of you.
Yes, I do. Always have it in front.
Okay, good. So looking at the big board, you know what? Let me get it up in front of me too. Looking at the big board, what are some of the biggest changes from last year to this year that you've seen so far that have really stood out to you that you were like, wow?
I think there's a few. It's obviously the return of the companies that missed last year's trade show. And, there's Foundation Cigar. There's La Florida Americana.
Yeah.
There's McAuliffe.
Yeah.
And, these are companies, and there's a few others I know I'm probably leaving out.
Casa
Casa Cuevas, yep. And I'm leaving another significant name out. It just seems like. But, and I apologize, but, as far it's the return of these companies, I think that are, well, it's not like a huge there wasn't like a huge exodus. Oh, United's the other one.
Yes, United. That's true.
Yes, United's the other one. I think these 5 companies are going to make a big difference being back at the trade show this year.
Now,
And these weren't gone for political reasons, these companies. So
That's
it's
what I was
very
gonna
important
say,
to
yeah.
make that out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Coop's right. I mean, the last year's show, you have to remember, or if you didn't know, due to the pandemic and all that other stuff, the TPE trade show happened in May, and PCA happened on its regular schedule in July. Now, the problem with that, and the reason why certain manufacturers did not attend PCA last year, was because a lot of those manufacturers attended TPE. And they sold a lot of stuff. They sold a lot of inventory.
Right.
It was at a time when there was a boom, inventory shortages, a lot of demand. So you go out there in May and you sell a lot of product. 8 weeks later, especially for the smaller distributors and companies, you're supposed to go back out there 8 weeks later and sell more. These guys said we sold everything we have, so
Yeah,
there's no. We're gonna go to PCA. We're gonna go back out there in 8 weeks. We have nothing to sell. That was the case for United, Casa Cuevas, McAuliffe, and LFD didn't do any trade shows because they chose to just kind of sit back and just focus on logistics and business
yeah,
flow.
same foundation, same with
Same with
foundation.
Foundation.
Yep.
That was why it was like we're just at this time like we can't be at a trade show selling product. We're trying to get the factory rolling again. So
Yeah.
very smart moves, by the way. Don't knock them for that. Very smart moves. I mean, you got to keep your other stuff moving before you can attempt to be trying to sell stuff you don't have. Or oh well, when can I get these? Well, we'll sell them to you, but you might not see them for another 12 months because the factory's at half capacity and we're trying to get everyone back in the factory right now. So
Yeah, and I'd say maybe with the exception of LFD, which I put, these are mid-tier companies. LFD is probably a little higher than a mid-tier company for sure,
yes,
but nonetheless, I think they're important mid-tier companies making a return. And it's sounding like each of these companies are going to be returning not just to check the box. They're all going to be coming in with different strategies. There's going to be products that are going to be announced from these companies. So they're taking it seriously, which I think is also a very good thing.
United is going to have some new things that they've already announced, but they will be
Yeah,
formally debuting at the show. La Flor Dominicana will be unveiling, from what I understand, multiple products. One of them
right.
was announced on the Smokin Tobacco show by Lito Gomez, the Soleil, or Soleil. I'm not sure how
Yep.
exactly you spell it or say it, but um, that will be coming out.
Yep.
McAuliffe, I believe,
They've
they
got stuff.
they have.
I
I
don't
don't
know if
think they
they're
have
ready to
like.
talk about it though.
Yeah, they have stuff. I know that they're not. They're gonna have something new to show. I don't want to say too much on that, but there's something new from them. You'll see
Yeah.
something in some way new from them. Foundation. I'm not sure. Coop, have you heard anything on Foundation? Is there any rumblings
Yeah, they've
about?
started making their product announcements already. So
Okay.
they announced the Macho Ratones, which are perfectos to the El Owense and Wise Man Maduro lines, but there's more coming from them. So they
Yes.
have product this year, new
Yeah.
product.
Yeah. So and they also will be back. So Nick Malilla will be back at the trade
Yeah.
show this year. Um, Saka will be at the show. I don't think he's bringing anything new. I think he's. I mean, you get the
Ah, you missed prime time with Saka.
I did miss prime time this week.
You missed he spilled the beans on prime time.
Oh, what did he say?
So he's got, in addition to the Bewitched, which was just shipped already, he has got the Mi Carita Black that will have a national launch. That's a line he originally released for JR, but it's going national, and he's going to have a 7x50 size called. You ready for this? Saka Khan. and
Gee, I wonder how he came up with that.
right. Um, and he's got a new Stillwell Star blend, holiday blend that's
Oh,
coming out.
you know
Holiday.
what? That's right. I did hear that there was. Yes, I heard about that one. I forgot about that
Yeah,
one. Yep,
yeah.
I heard about
So yeah,
holiday
he does
blend.
have and he's trying to decide. He may do one other thing. He may like do at the show, but so he's got stuff this year too. Not like last year, but he's still got stuff.
Now, the other thing that I was thinking about too. So last year we saw no cigars were present, but we saw the debut of Michael Herklotz's Ferriotego company at the PCA trade show, and
Yep.
we were told at a later time, although we saw the boxes for it. Actually, no, I think we knew about the cigars, but we only saw the boxes at the
We
trade
only
show
saw the
floor
boxes, right?
of the Ferriotego, the limited edition lines that came out, and we were told that those were blends for 2021 only, and that he would be doing something new for 2022. I anticipate that we will probably see whatever that 2022 limited edition is by the trade show.
It wasn't clear to me, Matt, though, if was it the Elegancia and the Generoso, which are the two
Yes.
blends, if
Yes.
they're just doing another batch of those or
Oh,
not.
okay. I
That
was under
wasn't
the
clear to
impression maybe
me
it
if
was
it's
maybe a
that.
little different, or
So he hasn't told that yet. I don't think he's announced that what that is yet.
he
It could
hasn't.
be another. Yeah, it could be another vintage of those blends, though.
Very true. Sorry, I'm trying to stay hydrated.
That's okay. I got a little hiccup here actually, so if I'm muting, there's a reason.
Uh-oh, Coop's got the
So
hiccups.
but I think this is a very important show for Michael, and Michael is gonna be on Bear and I on Tuesday, because I know everyone is rooting for Michael, and everyone's glad to have Michael back. But in my opinion, the success or failure of Ferrier Tago is not going to be on those Ferrier Tago LEs. It's going to be on those core lines.
Timeless
And
Metropolitan.
I think he's yeah, time is a problem, and I think he's still got a lot more work to do in that area
Oh,
to kind of
100%.
bring those into the market. So I'm curious to see where he thinks he's at right now. But nonetheless, it's still exciting to have something new at the trade show from Michael. Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo pooing. I think it's great. And then even if he re-releases the LEs from last year, it still gives him a chance to showcase that at a trade show. Not a bad thing. When you have some customers who probably haven't heard of him either.
So Mitchell and Jay are very active in the comments right now. First of all, Mitchell says, Coop, your SakaCon karaoke idea is amazing. Number
Yeah,
one.
I actually was. Yeah, Sokka hates the idea of doing Sokka Con karaoke. You go Sokka Con, Sokka Con, Sokka Con. And the person who does it the best. We have Steve give him a box of cigars.
Oh man, that's funny.
Sokka Con.
Jay is with us too, and Jay says way too many products coming. What linear feet is there to host these products? Expect a lot of good cigars getting moved off shelves to make room for gambles. Hashtag
Yep,
why I hate new for new. Um,
he's right.
he
He's
also
100% right.
says, I expect 2022 Ferio Tagos and 10th anniversary timeless with a question mark. That's true too.
Good
Could
one,
we see
Jay. Yeah.
a 10th anniversary timeless?
That's a good one, Jay. He's right. This is the 10-year anniversary of Timeless this year.
So
Good work, Jay. Yeah.
yeah, Jay, that's a good one.
Yeah. That would make. I mean, I'm speculating here, but that would make a lot of sense because that's a way you kind of again you do an anniversary. It helps promote the brand.
Hmm.
So it can kind of give the brand a little more juice with that. That's not a bad idea. It's
Mitchell had
better than
said,
doing a TA. It's better than doing a TAA cigar in a bundle, Mike.
we all know how you feel about the paper bundles. Mitchell said
Paper bundles.
this is going to be a make or break show for Herklots. I agree.
I
Uh,
agree.
I think that
It's the most important trade show in Michael Herklotz's career.
the first year, yeah, it's new. No one knew it was coming out yet. Now that things are on shelves, now it's game time for him.
Yeah,
Jay Davis though had
absolutely.
said, in my store, legacy lines crushed it huge in my stores last year. So there's one store that has done well with Ferrio Tagos legacy
Yeah,
lines.
I mean, they're good cigars. I mean, Timeless is timeless.
Yeah, Mike's tripping.
Sterling is one of my favorites. I mean, these are, but nonetheless, they still have to be reestablished into the market.
It's true.
And stores that had them that don't have them anymore, you have to get them back on the shelves, and you got to continue to turn them. That's a big undertaking, and I don't think anyone thought that Michael was going to go in there last October, flip a switch on, and start selling a ton of Timeless and Metropolitans. I think they were crazy. This is a big effort, and it's going to take a couple of years for sure.
Jay said disagree. He's already in almost 600 stores in less than a year.
Um,
Yeah,
I
but
disagree with
but
Jay.
but
I
but
think in the
how many of
southeast,
those stores are gonna
yeah,
reorder at the show?
yeah, yeah. He's weak in the southeast right now, Jay. In my opinion, I know I've been to other parts of the country. I understand it, but where I am is there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's not really up here. I think two guys carry some of Timeless. I believe Kurt Kendall. I don't know if Kurt Kendall actually carries any of the new
I don't
stuff.
know.
No, you know what? I thought I saw some of the Elegancia Generoso there. But then again, I don't know if he took the just in that. I can't remember if he got the new stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
Barry reviewed the TAA, so they must have it.
yeah, you're
Do
right.
that.
Barry did. So they definitely they carry Timeless then.
He only gave it a
Um,
91 though.
91. That's I think
Yeah,
that's a low score for him.
that's low
He
for Barry. Yeah,
That's
so
low
I
for
don't know about
Barry.
that. That is, that's what I'm saying. So,
Um,
but no, they have it. I see that there's a link that you can go and get it. So yeah, they have it at two guys. So if they're carrying the TAA, they must carry the rest of them.
Jay said, "I'm not saying they are back." Oh, by the way, good evening, Dan Thompson. Thank you for being with us. Jay Davis, I am not saying they are back, but way ahead in Saka and Foundation, even after they were out 3 years. What's Saka going on? Year 4 now? Year 5?
7.
Oh, has it been that long?
He came back. Him and Nick launched in 2015. It's
Wow,
hard to
shit.
believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, here's how I notice. We did Staka gave away an ashtray on the show, and this was 2015 was part of the question about Sober Mesa. That's why. So
Interesting. Is your boom thing loose on your headset? Is that why it keeps dropping?
yeah, the screw fell out. So
Oh. I was like, I hope that doesn't happen to mine because we have the same headset. I was thinking, I'm like, oh shit.
yeah, well, I have the screw, so it's just got to go back in.
Oh.
It's a pain to get it back in too.
The TAA was pedestrian, not as good as core lines. Alan Rubin says they launched in 2015 in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Hmm.
TA cigars in general are pedestrian. I mean, I think it's a fair thing. They're just, they're just.
Nope.
It's one of the worst marketing ploys put upon the consumers I've ever seen.
La Flor Dominicana, and there's no conflict of interest here, but La Flor Dominicana, those TAAs, fucking lights out.
LaFleur, Crown Heads, and Tatuaje, lights out consistently. Some of the others,
And that's true
hit or
about those
miss.
other two brands too. You're right.
Yeah, they've been always they're the 3 consistent. Christoph's done a couple of good ones too. I'll give them, but there's been a lot of TAA duds. I just reviewed one last week. In my review, I think I wrote another TAA dud. It was last year's Villiger, not this year's Villiger one. Which was this year's Villiger one I thought was pretty good. So
yeah, we've talked a lot about TAA. Sorry, my chair. The little thing that keeps it from rocking back always slides out. We've talked about TAA exclusives, PCA exclusives. Are there too many? We really won't get too much into TAA, but it's PCA pregame season. Like Jay said, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff heading to the show, and including that is the PCA exclusives. There's a lot of PCA exclusives. Now, look, we've been covering the PCA exclusive. We've been talking about them because that's our job. That's what we do. But Coop, you and I have made it very clear how we feel about PCA exclusives on the show.
Yeah. Meh. Meh.
For good reasons, though. For good reason.
Good reasons.
What about the shops that, the small shops that can't afford to go to the show, or maybe the shops that already do business with those companies, and they can't make it to the show for whatever reason, or there's some sort of and they do a lot of business with the company, but then they can't get the show exclusives that their customers are asking about, that they're looking for. They're a big carrier of that brand, and then they don't have it because they couldn't make it to the trade show for whatever good probably reason that they probably have. I mean, if they can't go, they can't go. It's on them. But like if God forbid, small shop they can't get there. Bigger shop, there's something going on, or there was something happened last minute. They couldn't make it to the shows. They weren't allowed to place their order.
Right.
It's kind of difficult and disappointing for some of those people and the customers looking for that product. Now that customer is gonna not do business with them, and they're gonna go do business with someone who maybe is brand new to that brand, never carried it, and they get TAA exclusive right out the gate. And then you know what? Maybe they like that shop better. Maybe they like that website better, and they're gonna go shop there now.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree. I totally agree with that, Bat. And then what are you going to do? You're going to tell someone, let's say you have a guy who's been to the trade show for 15 years in a row, right? And he can't go this year for a variety of reasons, right? Doesn't matter what the reason is. But he'll be back next year. You're going to tell that guy he can't get the product? He's been a customer and a loyal TA person and a customer. How do you tell that guy he can't get the product? That's why I think this is such a flawed system. And frankly, the idea is, and I heard Charlie Minato said this Friday afternoon. He did a podcast, and I've been saying it for months. Why are we within 30 days of the trade show and just finding out about some of this stuff? You should be getting people excited. You should be getting people excited back in February and March about these cigars. Pete was the only one who announced this cigar early, and it was a good job by Pete. And I've been critical of Pete with his media stuff sometimes, but he did a good job announcing that PCA exclusive back in February or March. So I don't know what everyone else is waiting for. And I talked to Scott Pierce about this, and I'll tell you what, I think the manufacturers, in my opinion, are not promoting this enough. I mean, I haven't seen like I've heard of certain cigars announced, and I'm hardly seeing companies even acknowledge that these cigars are coming out. So if I say their names, they'll say, "Oh, we did it," But let's be real, they're not promoting it.
Yeah, no, it's true. I agree. I think there should be more time,
Yeah, yeah.
a bigger time window on some of these
Bigger time. Yeah,
announcements.
it should be. It
You
should be
know,
a bigger time window.
now Jay and Alan are kind of pushing back against the small shop comments that I made. So it's not even just like being able to afford to go, but like there's some smaller shop owners that I've talked to who, yeah, maybe some of them said that they couldn't afford it. Some of them said, hey, like there's only like two of us, we can't, if we go to the trade show, then means, there's no one to man the store. There are a lot of reasons. There's multiple reasons to why some shops maybe just can't make it to the show for whatever reason it is. And I'm not trying to just say like whatever those reasons are valid. I'm not here to be the judge on whether the excuse is right or not. But the fact of the matter is, there are some shops that won't be able to attend or can't go, and they miss out on these exclusives. And maybe they do a lot of business with some of these brands, and then their customers are asking for it, and they're like, well, we couldn't get to the show, so they wouldn't let us order it. And it's like, look, it doesn't bother me that much, but it's because I'm not the one in retail. I'm not the one selling it. But it's just these are conversations I've had with a good amount of smaller shops or shops otherwise who won't be able to make it. And these are some of the reasons that, or one of the things that they've said to me about missing
Yeah,
out on the show exclusives. Because we couldn't be there or
yeah.
whatever.
But Matt,
So
let me kind of, and I love this company, and I've been high on this company, but I'm going to use them as an example. Are people going to be that upset that they couldn't get to the PCA trade show to reorder the Rocky Patel ALR Second Edition,
wait, say that
which is,
again.
by
I'm
the way, a
sorry.
cigar you can get
Sorry,
everywhere, right?
sorry. I was
I,
I
I,
was I got caught off by the comment. Say that one more time.
so I love this company, right?
Yeah.
And I've been high on this company. They were my company of the year and stuff like that. But I'll say this: are people going to be doing handstands to go to the PCA trade show to rebuy the Rocky Patel ALR Second Edition, a cigar which is on the shelves in a lot of stores right now?
And it's been out for a while.
I'm not going to be, yeah, you're going to be doing handstands saying, I got to go get my plane ticket to go out. And I'm not knocking the cigar. I'm just saying, honestly, are they going to be doing that? Um,
Rocky had a big year
I don't
last year.
think,
He
I
debuted
don't
three
think
new
so.
lines.
Yeah, but I mean, just saying the ALR has been one that's been out for 3 years, and that's kind of more limited line. So they made it available last year at the PCA trade show, and they're making it again available this year.
Oh yeah. No, I know. That's a fair
I, ju-
point.
I mean,
Fair point.
I'm being honest here, and then I know Christoph's got a cigar coming out, right? And look, I love Christoph, right? No one's seen the packaging for that cigar yet. So, am I gonna be exciting? What if they decide to go put it in? I'm not. I should say. I don't know. I think Christoph will put it in a nice box, right? But let's say if you're gonna announce a cigar, right?
They're
You
doing
want
a
to make
bunch of
sure
repackaging too.
you gotta look. Yeah, you gotta at least show what the cigar looks like to get people excited to go out there.
Oh yeah.
So Alec Bradley's taking the approach. Well, we're going to surprise everyone at the trade show. Alec Bradley can get away with that, okay? Because
Yeah.
Alec Bradley has a good track record of when they've done that before, they've not disappointed.
And that's
The
their
last time
shtick.
they did that was the Magic Toast, and
Yeah.
it was a huge hit for them. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a little benefit of the doubt because Alec Bradley's done it before and
Mm.
pulled it off successfully.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Alec Bradley. They're
Yeah.
gonna have a great show. They're gonna be
And from what I
fine.
understand, Fuente Padron is not part of this series. So
No.
I think it's kind of a separate deal, and no one knows what's going to. And I think that's a smart move, by the way. Not the PCA not getting involved with that
Hmm.
because who knows if that's going to even be at the show or not. It looks like it's going to be, but yeah,
The stance on the Fuente Padron thing, and this is a hot one. Everyone keeps asking about it. So from what Coop and I understand, there's a good chance that we will see it at the show this year. However, what I'm going to say, and this is the part that you need to pay attention to because this is the part that everyone doesn't want to listen to. They hear the first part and then they stop listening. This is where you
yeah.
need to listen. Having said that, if you do not see that at the show this year, don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked, and that doesn't mean it's done.
And it does. And it does. Yeah, exactly.
Carlito will not do this if it's not 100% right. He's not gonna. He'll pull it.
But from conversations that we've had
Yeah.
recently with Fuente, I mean, we were not told, hey, we're doing it, but it sounds like they're shooting for this year.
Yes.
But if they're not ready, they're not ready, and they're not going to do it. So it doesn't. There's nothing's guaranteed right
Yeah.
now.
And by the way, I doubt anyone will smoke that cigar
No,
or
no.
the two cigars that come out. I will tell you, I don't
And I'm
think
going to tell
anyone
you right now,
smoked
the
it.
secondary on that, all the groups on Facebook, they all know who they are. Who have the secondary groups. That's where you're going to see them because those cigars are going to be huge secondary cigars.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those cigars. I mean, and I love the Fuentes, right? But the one thing I get worried about sometimes is this 1 or 2 box allocations per retailer. In a lot of cases, the retailers, and I can't blame the retailer for the same. I don't need to put this. Why am I going to put this on the box? Why am I going to put this on the shelf?
Yeah.
So and I understand it. I'm not criticizing them. But it's unfortunately that's what that system is going to bring. Some people will share them with other people, and I know people who've been very generous in sharing. You guys know who you are. There's some people who keep them for themselves, and that's fine too. And then there will be some of the crumbs who sell it on the secondary market.
I
But
like how you use the word crumbs.
but
There'll
but
be
but
some of the
Matt, remember
crumbs.
the first batch of the rare pinks? How many of those actually
Yeah.
made it to the shelves?
Yeah.
The
I
first
mean,
batch I'm talking about.
I know when they first made it to
Right.
the retailers. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I hate. And look, I know Carlito has the best of intentions of it, so I'm not, but I understand he wants to get something out. But unfortunately, we've seen this happen. It's just reality that's happened.
Listen, I'm going to tap on another specific market of another industry where we see this every single day. The American bourbon market.
Yeah.
You know, you look at distilleries like Buffalo Trace, which is owned by the Sazerac company, which makes everything from, you know, Dr. McGillicuddy's and Fireball. They make all the way up to George T. Stagg, and they are the ones who distill Pappy Van Winkle. Now,
Mhm.
they operate very similarly. They make allocated releases, just like Opus X and all these other hard. There's only so much, and they can only read so many. But it's the same thing. They bottle so many bottles, and they release it to the distributors. And if you don't know how the liquor system works, it's very similar to the way the cigar system works. The manufacturers make what they have. They have an MSRP, and so George T. Stagg, all the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, the Van Winkle Selection, the Antique Collection, all those bottles have an MSRP of $99. There's different amounts made of each bottle. So there's more Thomas H. Handy in GTS than there is of William LaRue and Sazerac 18 and Eagle Rare 17. But they all have an MSRP of $17. I'm sorry, as $99. It might be like 109 now, but it's about $100. Those bottles annually come out in the fall. They are released to all the liquor distributors. It's out of their hands. And at that point, the distributors decide how and when and who gets what. And then the stores that get them, if they're, depending on how they work it out with their distributor, once they get it in their store, then it's a free-for-all. Then that's when you see the bottles on the shelf for $900 because the store goes, oh, we only got one bottle. Let's put it up for $900 because they're banking that someone's going to buy it because it's so sought after. It's the same thing. The manufacturer, like you said, they have good intentions. They're making their product, they want people to have it. But once it leaves them and it goes to the distributors and the retailers, that's it. There's not much they can do. Now, you can do what Kentucky Owl did. Kentucky Owl, they raised the prices on their bottles of like confiscated and all that to the secondary price, and you saw the secondary come down off of that.
Yeah.
Go that route too. It'd just be like, all right, well, if you're gonna flip them and you're gonna, all right, we'll just raise the price out of the gate, and then no one's gonna want to flip it. And sure enough, now you can find Kentucky Owl more than some of the other brands on the shelf. So it's very, very similar, and we see it with stuff that's already on the shelf. You're gonna see it with stuff like this. It's just the way it works. So Coop, when you said that, I wanted to add on to that because it's true.
Yeah.
It's not on Carly. When you see these rare pinks and they're like $500,
Well, it's not, and that's why I want to be very clear on that.
Nothing
Yeah.
to do with them. you know, when it comes to Opus X, you know, they only release so much, right?
Yep.
So they know it's a limited product, and they want it to be limited. It's a special product for them to release, but there's an MSRP on Opus X. A lot of Opus X MSRP is way lower than what you realize. It's the retailers who get it who lift the price on it, and that's just the way it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Some shops are better than others, and that's really all it comes down to.
Very true. I know we were talking about PCA exclusives. That's all we got on that.
I know. Sorry, we went off on a tangent, but you know what? It's good information.
Yeah, it's good
It's
information.
very good information. Sorry, the comments just got through. I can't share all of them now. I gotta keep moving forward.
Matt, I mean, Alan Rubin's looking forward to PCA. I'm shocked.
Three things. I'll share that one right here. The three things I am most looking forward to about PCA is the following: 1, Coop complaining about the lack of quality airplane selfies. 2, Matt complaining about influence getting in the way. 3, Aaron saying nothing excited him. That's almost like a bad Cards Against Humanity card.
It's actually true. Oh, and there will be bad airport. This is, you know, there will be bad airport selfies.
I will still
I mean,
take one on my way, but
did you see Abe? You did a good one. Your present company. Did you see Abe went through the whole airport selfie thing when he was going to Jordan?
does he not
Abe
know that
backed
it's
it up
over?
with some great photos and great trip stuff from Jordan, right?
Yeah, but Abe's not a bum.
But I was saying these people who go to the trade show, I swear the cigar industry, did they not go on planes as a kid that they have to say, "Oh, look, I'm on a plane"? It's like they have to show off they're on a plane. I don't know what else it is
Do you like Tom
about
Segura,
them.
the comedian? Have you ever seen Tom Segura?
Yeah,
He does a
he's okay.
joke, one of his stand-ups, and Nicole and I are actually going to see him. But he does one of the jokes in one of his specials where he talks about like people that he hates, and he was like, "Yeah, and what about what about grown men who board 6 a.m. flights who've never seen a cloud before?" And he goes, "There's an unwritten rule that on a 6 a.m. flight, hey, we're gonna keep the shades closed so it's nice and dark along the journey so we can sleep." It's like the same thing. It's always like the people who are like, "Oh my God, look at me on the plane." You know, like Terrence Riley. Like, I love Terrence Riley, but it's like he gave up last year. It's like, this is the USB port on the seat and in 17C, and it's like, how the fuck does that qualify?
But the best ones, Matt, you see the people on the plane, and they're miserable,
Ugh.
right, on the plane. And it's clear they're miserable, but they have to get the picture that they're on the plane because they got to tell someone they're taking an airplane ride. Like, it's and look, I've heard people say, "Oh, you know, they're trying to show the experience." If you're taking a airport selfies, then I would expect that you're gonna, when you get to your destination, there's gonna be better pictures than
Yeah.
of you on a plane, and that's what we don't see. And then cigar people, same thing. I would expect you go to cigar stores, right, and take pictures. You know what cigar people told me why they don't do it? They don't want to upset the other people in town. I said, you're taking a picture of what city you're going to on the plane, and now you're telling me you don't want to upset someone that you didn't go to their store. Only in the cigar industry you hear like that convoluted logic. So,
I
yeah,
know.
this year Cigar-Coop is doing something a little different than airplane selfies. So
What are
there's
you guys
gonna
doing?
be a little different spin on it.
Are you not announcing that yet?
It will involve magnets. We've had a series of magnets, and you may have already seen some of these magnets appear, but I have not announced the details of it yet because I haven't flushed.
The
And the only reason why I haven't announced
Cigar-Coop
the details of
magnet?
it, no, they're not Cigar-Coop magnets. I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I'm not announcing it is because I don't have the concept fleshed out yet. So
Okay,
that's
that's
the
fair. That's
reason.
fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's the
I'm
reason.
not
So
gonna bug you.
yeah, there's no so if I don't come up with a concept, it may not be, but probably magnets will be involved this year.
Magnets. God,
Yeah.
this is.
Yep. And if you saw my trip to Florida, I had a couple of those magnets floating around. I was putting them around in places in Florida. So a little different spin this year. There's always a little fun thing we do with Cigar-Coop out at the trade show. Okay, so last year it was the whole airplane thing, right? Do you know what it was in 2019? Do you remember? People may remember this. This was before your time. It was the whole Cigar Dave tracker.
Mitchell, to be fair, he had to go to a different location because there was someone else in that store who cries even more when John doesn't go there. So that's why he probably didn't end up in Salem. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so 2019 was the Cigar Dave tracker.
Mm.
We kept, yeah, Bear and I kept showing up in the same booth as Cigar Dave. So we set an over under
Oh, okay.
one day, and then Dave found out about it and hunted me down on the trade show floor, and we actually had a great conversation. It was kind of funny. So there's always a little fun thing I try to do at the trade show to go along with our coverage, just to kind of keep it light. So if the magnet thing works, it will involve magnets this year.
You know, it's like even when he's not here, everyone's talking about John Carney.
John Carney is a good man now.
He is.
Yeah, we had him on KMA last week. It was a good catch. I hadn't caught up with him in a while.
He stopped by the house. We had some
I
Chinese
I have to
food. And
I know you guys did a show Thursday, and I took my nap before my show, so I still have to catch up on it this weekend.
right, because the elderly have to nap in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, here's what I'll say, Matt. You'll get there.
Yeah, I know. I have to enjoy
You'll
my
get
time
there.
now because it's my turn for those now, but then it'll be my turn to take them later. I know.
Yeah. Famous line from Rocky Balboa. You'll get there.
Go
You
there.
know, crazy son of a bitch. You'll get there.
Hey, I took a 2.5-hour nap today, Jay Davis. Well, Jay, I mean, you're getting up there too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you're not taking like 6-hour naps like Jose Blanco, but when you get to be Jose Blanco's age,
Oh, wow.
that's our Jose
Oh,
Blanco aging joke of the night.
wow. Shots fired.
I spoke to Jose today. He was like in Oslo and Copenhagen. Now he's in Brussels. So he's like, and I gotta be honest. I'm saying this because if I was, look, he is older than me, right? I'll just kind of leave it at that. God bless him. God bless him that he's able to do that level of travel.
How old is he? 70?
He's about 72, I think. 72, 73.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 72. And I'm not saying he's not ashamed of his age, actually. So
I will be disappointed in Coop if he does not go to Peter Luger's that is opening at Caesars.
I'm not going with Peter Luger's.
Why?
I go to one in Brooklyn. Now. Why would I go to one in Vegas?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
guess
going
that's
with
a good
Peter
point.
Luger's.
I wonder if Carney will go.
If I'll be disappointed if Alan Rubin goes to Vegas and doesn't get a $40 waffle.
Ooh.
He did.
You hear that, Alan? Shots fired
$40
back.
for a waffle. Well,
Hey, anything can happen in Las Vegas. Last year.
$40. They had to pay $40 for a waffle.
Last year, it was a big year for us. It was our first full trade show. We made our official PCA debut last year, and it was great. We also got engaged at the show last year. Nicole and I got engaged, which was very special, very awesome.
Congratulations, beautiful thing.
I know.
You went through 2 tries of it, but
it's okay. It's all right. I got it right this time.
You got it right. You got it right.
So a lot of people want to know like how we're gonna top the trade show this year, and I don't know. I guess you're gonna have to keep tabs and follow along. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Dude, you're just.
So anyway, let me see. So back to the PCA trade show. I'm really excited. I feel like this year it's going to be. I mean, last year was busy. It was busy. TPE was busy, and that's kind of a different type of cigar trade show. But I anticipate this one being even busier. So we're really excited about this. There's a lot of ground to cover. Last time I checked, let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on any of that at this time. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. So we're just gonna have to keep on moving. So anyway, I mentioned the big board earlier. You have the big board.
Right.
Last time I checked on the PCA's website for the floor plan, with everyone's going, there was a few people I still hadn't seen yet that I was surprised. One of them was Room 101, but I think Matt said he was going.
He is on there.
He's on there now? Oh, okay.
I believe he's on there now. He's gone, but he is on. He wasn't on there, but he is on there now.
And it's funny, Matt's actually at the Sands Expo Center right now, because he is at JCK, which is the trade show, the big trade show for the jewelry industry. Which, by the way, his website has been down for like 3 days. Someone's gonna get on that. I'm calling him out right here. Someone tell Matt Booth, like, hey, can you get your website fixed? His Room 101 Brands website, because I wanted to do some shopping on there, and it was down. What the hell?
Oh, come on, Matt.
I know. Seriously. You know, I had a conversation with him recently about a couple other things. First of all, I told him, I said, you still owe Coop photos for 13th anniversary. And there was a couple other things I busted
Matt
his
did go on
balls on.
vacation, so I gave him a little break on it. But yes, he does owe me him.
And I busted his balls a couple other things, and he was like, dude, I'm just a mess. I'm like, you know what, dude? The problem is you're getting too famous now, and you're getting too big, and like you need to hire like someone to like get your shit in order. Like now your website's down for like 3 days. Like, come on, man, you're losing business.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Matt Booth is 1504 is his booth. So yeah,
1504.
he is. Yep, he is. Yeah, they did. I knew it was just recently added. Yeah.
I wonder if he'll have a sex swing at the booth this year. They were trying to have it last
You
year, but
want
they
to
lost the
encourage
base.
him. You're gonna
Why?
encourage him.
Why?
He needs to sell cigars. He needs to sell cigars.
I know he does, but
He's not gonna sell any. He's not
I
gonna sell
need
one more
content to
cigar.
film. I need content.
Oh, okay. That's a different story. Okay.
No, that's my
This
market.
thing is
you
not
know
gonna
what I
help
mean?
Matt sell one more cigar. I'm gonna be completely honest. If he
No,
brings the video games back, maybe.
it's true. Although I did
But
speak to one retailer
you
who
never saw
said
the video games, did you?
I saw the video games.
Okay. They were
I
there
saw-
last year?
Yeah, they were there.
Okay, I didn't remember them last year. But that's been a staple to Matt Booth's booth is the video game cabinets.
Oh yeah, he didn't have game cabinets. He had like a TV, and then there was like a PS3 on the floor.
Okay, that's different. He used to have video game cabinets, but I think they would. The problem is the weight of bringing them in were too expensive, so that's probably why he had to change that.
Like a Pac-Man thing.
Like an
that?
upright video.
Yeah.
He had the upright ones and the tabletop ones as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I guarantee. I think he told me the issue was they charged him by the pound to bring those in.
Really?
So yeah,
That's interesting.
economically, it probably didn't make sense.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that we saw last year is the people who went, even the big brands, or the people who are known for having big booths, much smaller booths last year. Now, and we know why. We know why. But do we see people go back to big booths, or do we see them go, well, we made it work with a small booth last year. Why don't we stick with it? Because the trade show floor was much smaller last year also because of that too. The people who did go had smaller space. Take the people who weren't there out of the equation. It was even smaller because of that. So now do we see bigger booths from those people who downsized for last year, or do you think that they were like, you know what, maybe this will work and we shouldn't keep spending money on big booths?
Yeah, the big story. It was a big story last year coming out of the trade show. Was what I called economy of scale.
Yep.
And a lot of people scaled back their booze. Like for example, Perdomo scaled back the booze, and I think Perdomo's probably going to stick with that going forward. You know, yeah, we'll miss the old big booze by Nick for sure, but you know, he did. It was profitable for him to do that. I think you'll see a couple of other companies do some upgrades on the booze this year. Like I think Pete's going to upgrade his booze a little. I don't think this is going to be at the booth he used to have. I'm hoping Ashton upgrades their booth. That was like Ashton's booth was like not a booth at all. It's space with
I'm trying to
tables.
remember if Andy said they were going to have a bigger booth again.
Andy Green,
Yeah.
great guy. I like Andy a lot.
Love Andy. He's awesome.
Yeah, we interviewed him at the trade show last year. He's great. I know he was on Smokin' Tabacco too, and he did very well on that. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I'm trying to remember if he said they were going to have a bigger booth again this year.
They really needed it, and look, a product like Ashton used to have a very fancy booth, but a product like Ashton does display very well. And you know, I think the ones the La Passions that came out this year, there was something missing, not having a cabinet with those things in there. I think it really could have. I think it really kind of. I don't want to say it hurt, but there was something missing.
I'm glad Jay remembers what goes on my shows better than I do. Yes, Andy said in your show that it would be closer to their classic booth this year. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
That's good because they've always had a very nice booth. Ashton.
Yeah, you know, last year we saw Padron had the full size booth.
That's the same booth they've had forever.
Yep. So they had that.
Fuente's booth was all new. Fuente's booth was all new though.
Yeah, they didn't have that Tampa theme going with that they've had in years past. They had a very
I thought
smaller...
Fuente had the booth of the show last year.
Yeah.
I think what they did. I mean, there were a lot of great booths. Don't get me wrong. I know the J.C. Newman one, the cardboard. The only reason why I would probably give it to Fuente over the Newman one, the cardboard booth was done before already once, so it wasn't a new concept.
Hmm.
Espinosa did it a few years ago, but the way Fuente had that, just every detail you could see was in terms of where product was positioned and the color schemes and everything. You could tell there was a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
And Fuente
yeah,
is one of the brands that they do
yeah.
everything to the T. They put a lot of detail, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of
Yes, they
thought
do. They really
into
do.
every little detail.
Yeah.
As does even Perdomo. Now, let's talk about Perdomo cigars for a minute. Perdomo is on schedule, although we've and I think you have too, have been hearing some rumors that even though we are due for 30th anniversary, it may not make it to the show this year.
I think Nick said that. I think it's packaging that's holding it up right now.
So it's
And
still it's still like kind of 50-50. It's not no, but it's not yes.
I think they're, they're not promising it. I think it's the smartest move. Don't promise it. And
Yep.
they always say you don't want to underdeliver and overpromise. So, Nick's been very open. There's a 30th project coming out, and I'm sure that will come out. Um, when again, when Nick releases a project, think about it. He doesn't do it half-ass, right? The packaging's done, the cigars are ready, and it's got to be turnkey ready to go with him, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know, like we just had Nick on the show a few weeks ago, and he was very non-committal on it. I mean, acknowledging it is coming out, but Showtime may be another story, and he'll do it on his schedule. I know that.
Now, when it comes to 30th anniversary, has Nick said anything about any further details on it other than its existence or acknowledging its existence?
He's got some tobaccos he's been growing on the Finca Natalie that I know is some shade grown stuff that he's going to be using in the blend.
Okay.
He's pretty proud of. He gave us some burritos of that when I was down there 2 years ago. So that's pretty much all he's mentioned. I do know it's going to have some spectacular packaging, is the other thing. But as far as the cigars,
You
they've
mean
been
more
pretty
than
tight.
his regular stuff?
I can't say more or less other than it's going to be, really good. Which
You know
they have
something,
some very
Coop.
good
I know
packaging.
you know something. I could tell.
I don't know something. The
Oh,
only thing I
okay.
know is that tobacco from the farm, the Finca Natalie farm. That's the one thing I can tell you that's being used on there, and it's really good. That shade grown tobacco he's working with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm excited.
Well, I'm telling you,
Perdomo never
I know as much as you
disappoints.
do on this. Yeah.
Yeah, they never disappoint. No,
Yeah.
I thought you made a face. I thought maybe you knew something. Maybe I was wrong.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. I was
Um,
looking at the screen,
Jay
but
Davis,
no.
question for William Cooper: who wins for best overall packaging, Perdomo or Fuente? I give Nick a slight edge. That's a tricky
I do
one,
too, and there's a reason why I do. Yeah.
but I agree. Even though it is kind of a tricky one, but I do agree. And Coop, I'll let you because he asked you. I'll let you give the answer on that one.
Some of Fuente's packaging is very confusing
Yeah.
with the ribbons. That's the reason why. Um, and with Nick's, it's not confusing.
I mean, when you look at if you want to look at all of Fuente, take out the Prometheus stuff because that's something different.
That's
Talk
a
about
different
just the stuff
story. Yeah.
that's under the Arturo Fuente label.
Yeah.
Some of the Opus stuff, crazy cool. And then you have the classic stuff, which is cool. It's like old school Cuban, the box,
Hmm.
the paper mache style. It's got the cover. Cool. And you have some other stuff that's real basic wood. And then you have the ribbons. And then you have some. It's nice. Fuente does a great job. But there's a lot of different things going on across the board. Whereas when you look at
Once you
Perdomo,
know it, you'll understand it. Right.
yeah,
But you have to
Perdomo is
get to
very
that.
universal all around. Like it doesn't matter what line or blend it is. It's kind of like the same thing and it's in full detail all the way around. You know what I mean? Whether
Yeah.
it's 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, Habano, the Habano, the barrel aged line, whether it's the 12-year age, it's all like it's different lines, but it all has that same level of uniformity and theme, and the right points are there. maybe it's a different name, different design, but the same aspects of the designs all have the same flow. It's all very uniform, which I know is done very specifically. That's the way Nick wants it, because and Nick will tell you this, when all his boxes are on the shelf, when they're on display, they're displayed the way he wants them, in order, organized, with the shelf talkers open. It doesn't matter what the cigar blend or the line it is. They all look the same, and it's very uniform. They're very slightly differentiated, so you know what cigar you have, but it's all very uniform together. And that's the way that he wants it. And I have to give it to him. It's a very good model that he has.
Yeah.
So, interesting question, Jay.
Yeah. But you want to, I still love that Opus 20th anniversary package. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at Opus 20th, Forbidden 13, the
Yep.
Oro Oscuros, like Angel Share. It's got that nice red box. Yeah. I mean, they have nice packaging. I mean, the 20th.
They do.
That's a nice box.
Yep.
I don't think I know anyone's ever thrown one away. Normally, people finish it and they're like, I don't know what to do. They just keep it. It's too nice to throw away.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, no, but it again, and they're not the only brands who do those things with their packaging. And Perdomo's not the only one who packages that way. He's one of the few, but I guess you could argue, Padron is very uniform too. Not the same kind of detail that Perdomo has, but at the same time, they kind of stick to that whole theme across the board, where it's all very similar. It's very uniform. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree.
The cigar is good. By the way, I don't know. We didn't talk about this. I'm smoking the Nova Congress. It's a great cigar. Coop, what are you smoking? I didn't even talk about this.
Well, we didn't do a Padron 50th anniversary. Padron 50th Family Reserve Maduro. Excuse me.
Oh, Padron. Nice.
I went Padron tonight. Yep.
Wow. It's a good cigar.
Padron.
Padron
I
does a
had,
good
I
job.
saw the Padron sitting there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna grab it.
You just gotta go. Yeah, gotta go for it.
Yep.
Worst packaging. Drum roll. Padron, hands down. Yeah. So again, like I was saying, and not the same detail like Perdomo. However, I will say their packaging is also very uniform, so it's all the same. Congress is like a $36 cigar.
The worst packaging. No, the worst packaging is anyone who uses a Mazo.
A what?
A Mazo paper bundle.
Oh, a paper bundle.
Bundles, you win the worst packaging award.
Oh God, here we go.
Cigars are not designed to be covered in paper bundles to be put on display in stores.
I feel like this topic comes up every show, no matter what we talk about. Somehow, the paper bundle comes up.
Because I'm so freaking passionate about like pop cigar boxes that it just disgusts me when I see these paper bundles. I love cigar boxes. To me, are artistic, and they have a charm to them. Some I get are simpler than others. There's nothing about a paper bundle that romanticizes me about the cigar.
So, Coop, I don't have plans to ever make a cigar.
Right.
It's just not. It's not something I really care.
It's not. I don't have a plan. There'd be maybe one scenario where I do it, but no plans either.
Right. So it's not something I want to do or try to do. And people have asked, "Are you gonna make your own cigar?" I'm like, no, that's not what I do. That's not where my focus is. Right. However, having said that, I just want to put it on record. For whatever reason, if the stars aligned and in some way, shape, or form, my life dramatically changes and somehow I'm going to come out with my own cigar. Okay. I'm going to make sure that they are all boxed. But when you get
Cello, I'm okay with Cello, by the way.
But when you get yours, I'm going to say no. You make 3 of those in a craft paper bundle, and you send them to William Cooper. Don't give him a box. Wrap them in a Mazo and give them to William Cooper. Everyone else gets a box. Only just to piss you off.
And it will piss me off. You will absolutely.
And he'll go.
Yeah,
He'll go. Everyone got a box, but when I got mine, they were in paper bundles, and I didn't like that.
Give me a Cello bundle. I'm okay with a Cello bundle, by the way. I'm okay with Cello bundles.
Yeah, I
if
know.
I ever do a cigar, there'll be 2 promises. One is it won't be in a paper bundle. It will
Oh, we
be,
know
and
that.
two, it won't be a single store release.
I know that too.
I will not do a single store release. I may do a limited store release, and I have no plans of doing one. Just so you know, so but I am not gonna go because if I do one first of all, I'm not high on single store release, but second, imagine if I did it to one store, how many people would be pissed off at me. So that's why I would never do a single store release.
I would name it the Gabe Kapler blend. I would wrap it in brown paper, and I would put Manager of the Year edition. And
You seen his record this year?
I'm not I'm just I don't. It's not about that. I'm just talking about my
Saying, have you seen his?
ideas.
We're only 2 games behind him with Philly.
I would make that cigar, and I would put every theme I could that you don't like, and I would challenge you to smoke the cigar and give me less than a 90. And if you give
That'll
me
be
less than 90, I'm gonna say you're just being a dick.
easy. I mean, what I mean, well, it's against me because 3/4 of the cigars coming out today can't score a 90. So
I don't know. For me, you know what? I'll come up with a cigar that's called. I'll just name it this cigar. The cigar to piss off William Cooper, and I'll wrap it in paper and I'll send it to you. No bands either. Just brown paper. It'll say, "This is to piss off William Cooper." Gabe Kapler edition.
that somehow Gabe Kaplan
And you'll
paper
smoke it, and
bundle
you'll be like,
on-
I want to be mad at him, but the cigar is pretty damn good.
right.
I want to hate this, but I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, the fun I could have.
Yeah. By the way, I look forward to seeing nice cigar boxes at the PCA, not paper bundles.
Yeah, no, and there are. There's a lot of nice packaging on display. There's a lot of companies out there that attend the show. A lot of smaller companies that, even the ones that maybe we don't talk about, not because we don't care, they're not good enough, but there's just so many names.
Yeah.
It's hard to just have them all at the front of your mind all the time. But there are, and you walk the trade show floor, and there's so many booths, there's so many companies, and they all have their stuff on display. And there's some really nice displays out there. I think it was it German engineered cigars, a brand that we don't really talk about. You probably won't hear a lot about, at least right now. They're a newer brand, but I think it was them. I remember walking by their booth and being like, "Wow, that's a small little company." But like their presentation is so nice, like it really, really, and it's true. There are really, as much as we talk about the manufacturers and people who maybe do things that they're not so pleasant. There's a lot of people out there who don't get a lot of airtime, but they have a really nice presentation, and they do put a lot of effort in. And
They
you know,
do,
like
but the cigars miss though. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
and the cigar's not always about the packaging, even though
Yeah.
sometimes people buy based off of the packaging, and we're all guilty of doing it. I don't know if you saw, I had Carney Blind smoke a cigar the other night on the show.
Yep.
And we talked about, like, hey, sometimes, buying by the band is influenced by Adam Blind Smoke, but it's true. Sometimes, there is awesome packaging. The cigar's not that great. I mean, look at Nova. Nova's got some great cigars. And look at their bands and their packaging. Really colorful, vibrant, detailed, elegant. Great presentation. Great presentation that they have.
Yeah,
The only
they
thing
do.
I don't like, the only thing I want to say is the only thing I don't like from them, while it looks good, I wish they went with standard boxes for all of their lines, because some of their stuff they do in like a cardboard box bundle, and the box is really beautiful.
By the way, I'm okay with those, just so you know.
I know, and it's not bad. It's not,
because they work at duty free
nice.
things. I get why there is, yeah.
Yeah, but I also, it's like, it's nice, but part of me is like, I want to see a box though. But otherwise, they're good. They are.
They are. We talk about German engineered cigars, and they're nice guys, right? And like I said, their cigars unfortunately were a little bit of a miss for me, but they have, I think, been making a lot of effort to try to improve their blends. I mean, they share information with me, so I look forward to that. I know they were working with Claudio Suarez for a while on some blends. He used to be with Mombacho, so good for them. Good for them. They're trying to better their product, and I wish them all the luck on that.
There's another small brand that has been around for a couple years now, and I see them in conversations I have with other media guys and bloggers and stuff. I'm hearing more about them, and it's Drunk Chicken Cigars. That's a brand that I've heard mixed reviews about. I haven't had the
Yes.
cigars yet myself.
Yes.
Some people say they're good, some people don't say they're good. I haven't had them, so I can't tell you how I thought. But I will tell you, I'm hearing more and more about them. They are coming to the trade show. They sent out some emails already. They've been trying to get in touch with people. They're trying to make some effort there. I'm
They are.
interested to see
And we
where
went
they
to see them
go.
last year. Great folks, by the way.
Yeah.
Great folks. Do they have the product yet? I only smoke one cigar, it is. So it's unfair for me to judge the whole company on one cigar,
Mhm.
whether it's
Where
positive or negative. You know what I mean? So,
do you remember which one you
um,
had?
uh, no.
Was it that
If you
Mother
told me the
Clucker?
name of it, I'd remember it.
Was it
Oh, the
Mother?
Mother Clucker. The Mother Clucker.
That's the only one that I know of. I know they have
Yeah,
others, but that
yeah,
name stuck with me because it was kind of funny.
yeah. They
But
did give me because I remember they asked me what I wanted to smoke, and I picked the Mother Clucker.
okay,
But yeah, you just can't judge a company on one cigar. But what I
no,
can judge people behind the company, and they're good folks, and they're folks you want to get behind. Certainly you want to see them do well.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, I
I
had to
mean, if
have
I
some
judge the
keyboard.
person on their cigar, Justin Andrews would be getting killed by everybody. No, just kidding, Justin.
Oh wow, yeah, Coop, shots fired from Coop once
Oh,
again.
Justin's the official whipping boy of the cigar industry. So
I
we
thought
all whip.
Alan Rubin was, or
He's not
that's
in the
just
cigar
your
industry.
whipping boy.
He's not in the cigar industry, is
Yeah,
he? Right, he's not in the cigar industry right now.
I don't know.
So
He's not here right now, but I'm sure he'll pop out and defend himself if he is here. But that's between you and him. I don't drag me into it. I'm just
don't you dragged him into the room? I mean, or someone dragged him
I
in.
didn't. He started watching. I didn't do anything. He's a follower of the show. He likes. He's a good audience member. I accept everyone who watches and supports the show, and he
He
and
does
he's
support
and
our shows. I do appreciate that.
and
Yes,
I
and he
appreciate that.
must
So
time a
he's
lot.
always
Yes,
welcome
yeah,
to watch the show. Whatever goes on
yeah,
between you and him, that's between you and him. Don't that has nothing to
yeah.
do with me.
He is just evaporating. No, he's a good guy. By the way, scoring update: Tampa Bay won, Rangers nothing in the third period. So it could be the end of the season for the Rangers right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep,
Whoever it is, they still gotta go play Colorado.
yep,
That'll be an interesting series.
yep, yep, for sure.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, there was a couple of other non-PC related topics that we could
Hmm.
talk about that maybe can tie into PCA's show.
Hmm.
First one being Carney and I were talking. So news earlier this week came of Illusion. Is it Illusion in Altadis
Illusion and General.
or in general?
Hmm.
Doing a collaboration project, and we were talking about it, and it was, well, is it a true collaboration? Sometimes, and we've had this conversation off the air before. There's collaborations, right? And not every collaboration is really the same or truly a collaboration. We had this conversation with Juan Lopez at Gurkha, and he came on, and I asked him point blank, live, hey, Gurkha has had a little bit of a negative reputation for a little while. It's no secret. People, you go on social media, see people are like, oh, Gurkha's bad. How are you combating it? And it's like, well, the biggest part of that was them allowing their name to be used by certain groups to make a cigar with their name on it, and the cigars they were using were trash. But it had a Gurkha band on it, but Gurkha had no control over that cigar. They licensed the name out, and that happens all the time, whether people know it or not. And Carney and I got to talking about. He's like, it'd be interesting to talk about that on the show. When it comes to like some of these collaborations that go out.
Hmm.
And Coop, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is how many of these are true collaborations, and how many of these are I'll give you 50 grand to put your name on a cigar that you're never gonna touch or see, but it's gonna say your name on it.
Yeah. So let me because I do know about this particular project, the Illusione project, right? And I do know Justin extremely well.
Jay,
Okay.
no, Nicole hasn't tried that yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So Justin, he's been around a long time. He's a friend of mine, I would say, but But Justin's the kind of guy I know for a fact when he works with AJ Fernandez, he I've been told from people who are very close to AJ, Justin's in AJ's inner circle. Like AJ has a lot of respect for him, right? I know when Justin's worked on some projects with Espinoza, he's literally the guy. They sit down at a table and they're sorting through tobaccos, like they're literally going that. So I have no reason to believe he didn't do that with Dion. That's my definition of a collaboration is exactly what that scenario is. You are sitting in a room at a table. You are going through the tobaccos together. You are trying this out together. It's not that you're off in two separate cities testing blends out. Or it's not that, hey, instead of working with factory A, which I've worked with for 10 years, I'm going to go work with factory B and we're going to, factory B happens to have a brand and we're going to call it a collaboration. That's not a collaboration. That is no way. And there's the scenario I just talked about this idea of sitting at the table kind of things. Very few of them have happened. I'd say it's less than 10% of them.
Yeah. You know,
So
I don't. Can I say this? I think I can say this. John told me that someone had approached them to do something like that, and they shot it down. They're like, no.
about when Lito remember when Lito did a collaboration with Royal Agio? He sat down with Boris. From what I understand, they sat down with Boris Wintermans and they literally worked on this face to face for a time.
I think it was someone who just wanted to. They tried to offer the money to use the LFD name on something that they weren't going to touch, and
Right.
no. And I was like, why do you go to a company like LFD who's very vertically integrated? They grow tobacco, they age tobacco, they roll the tobacco. They do all of that, and you're just gonna license the name, like, and then they're not even gonna touch the cigar. It's like, why? I mean, and you know what? And I get why some people would say, well, but it's like, of course they're gonna say no. You know that they're not gonna do
Right.
that.
Right. It, no, and a lot of these are completely like I've seen some collaborations come out the last couple of years, and I know they're all BS because no one's been down at the factories. Like
Oh
no
yeah,
one's been traveling. How and you worked on this collaboration. Um, there's some debate. Is the Fuente Padron one a collaboration or not? It's a unique project. Don't get me wrong, but is it what I just said? Did Carlito and George Padron sit down and do this together? It sounded like no. They went off and each blended a cigar together. Do you
I
take
would.
anything away? Should in this case.
I was under the impression with
Let me
that
just move a
project.
wire, but I'm here. So
No, no worries. I was under
yep.
the impression that with that project, it wasn't supposed to be a.
No, I don't think it was ever
It was
positioned
supposed to be
like
like
that.
we're gonna make one for you and you make one for us, but it wasn't supposed to be like we're gonna do it together. So I don't know if
Right,
that
but
would
I
really
think, but yeah, and they
count.
shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be. It's this is not one of these projects where, oh, I'm just gonna, hey, we're just gonna do something and put a slap a name on it. There was some thought put into this. Okay, Carlito is blending a cigar that Jose Orlando Padron would like, and vice versa. So there's some real thought, and I think conceptually they got together and they came up with a concept. If
Jay
that makes sense.
Davis.
Conceptually, it's a collaboration. I think in this
Jay Davis
case.
said not a collaboration. It's an inspirational and homage project. Yeah, I think it's more like Jay. It's more of
It's a
a.
joint project.
It's like a
It's a joint
tribute.
project.
It's a tribute project that they are working on together because they're doing it, for each other.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a tribute project.
Right.
I wouldn't call it like a true collaboration.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I would remove that from the category. That's a very special, unique
Yeah, that's what I'm
thing.
saying. I think that's I'm not you and I talking about certain cases where like, hey, we did this at your factory. Can we slap your brand name on it and call it a collaboration? That's the stuff we're pointing out here. Is this that's the kind of the poppycock, if you want to call it,
Yeah,
garbage. That's the stuff we're saying. That's complete nonsense.
yeah. I mean, there's and there's a lot of it out there too. And I figured I'd bring it up because it's we do see sorts of different projects around, and it is interesting. So and I wanted to get your take on it too. I knew that you would have something to say. Other than that, that was really it. That's all I wanted to kind of cover with that. We can maybe touch on that again in the future.
Yeah,
But the other thing I wanted to get to was actually I think it was something that you sent to me earlier today. I think.
yeah. This is a topic I heard. I heard this on Cigar Authority recently,
Okay.
and it was actually a very interesting topic. And it was whenever I hear cigar media, I immediately perk up, like when a broadcast is going to talk about cigar media, right? Because I'm in the media business, right? So I love it when we're talking about the business we're in, right?
Mhm.
And despite the fact that I hear nobody wants to hear about it, numbers tell me otherwise, right? But Dave was kind of not. There was a few facets to this conversation, and he was kind of getting into the notion that there's no such thing as a cigar media
Okay.
because that media is completely subjective. Media is not completely objective; like they're more subjective. And the actual like true definition of media is the objectivity, right? Um, so he kind of felt it was like it's a bad word to use per se. It wasn't the right word to use.
Mhm.
Um, it then triggered a secondary conversation that goes back with one of the hosts, Barry, and I. We've debated this for over a decade. All right, about the term cigar blogger, and he likes the word cigar blogger. I can't stand the word cigar blogger because I think blogger is a very specific type of role, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I can talk about like that, what a blogger is. And you and I are not bloggers.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
We have
A
a blog.
blogger, right? So a blog is an agile form of journalism,
Mhm.
right? So the idea is it's written. There's not a lot of structure. There's not a lot of processes behind it. It tends to be more personal,
Hmm.
right? And to say that bloggers go to the trade show now is completely like wrong, right? Because of like we're not like how many people actually blog about the trade show? How many people actually
Well,
write about the trade show these days?
would you call Craig Vanderslice a blogger?
Craig Vanderslice is a pure blogger. Yes. Craig is like the true definition of a blogger. He writes that agile, that personal approach, and he's very good at it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm not a blogger. People ask me,
You, right. We have a blog on Cigar-Coop, but
yeah,
it's one component of it.
people will ask me like, or people like they get the misconception. They're like, oh, well, you guys are a podcast, and I tell people no. I mean, I have two podcasts under my brand, but
Right.
I do a lot more than that. Um, it's multimedia. It's different
Yeah.
forms. I have
Yeah.
podcasts and
Call,
shows we do. We
calling.
have online. We have news and
Yeah.
articles we write and stuff like that. So,
Right.
um, there's a whole bunch of things that we do.
Right.
Um, so yeah, you're right. It's not one specific thing.
Right. But Dave was kind of going on this notion is there's no such thing as cigar media, right? Because he was kind of again saying we're all subjective.
Okay.
But then the answer is there's no such thing as media, right? Because there's no such thing as a 100% objective um person, right? Everyone's got some level of subjectivity. Some are more subjective than others, right? But there's everyone that's human nature can have it, right? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there was a better word to call us, but if Barry was suggesting blogger is a better word than media, no. I think I think if you're taking the media definition literally, Dave's probably right, but I don't think media's definition is literal anymore. I think it's evolved. Um, and here's the other thing I find, Matt, and this ties back to the trade show. Like I remember going to the trade show in 2012 and 2013, and we were called the damn bloggers. That was it. Those damn bloggers, right? What are they
Mm.
doing at the trade show? All they want is free samples. All they do is get in our way. Those damn bloggers, right? And then Hector Alfonso came up with a new word, and it caught on. He started calling people the collective cigar media. And that's the word that kind of took on and stuck.
I mean, I get it. I understand like why someone might bring it up,
Right.
or
Yeah.
but it's also hard to find. I mean,
Do you have another definition? That was my question. Wait, Dave, I think with Dave, I understand. I love the argument he was presenting, but you got to
it's a
have
good one.
definition. What are we then? What are we then? Okay,
It
we're
is
not
a good
bloggers.
one.
I can tell you that.
It's a good point, but at the same time, it's like, well, but like, what else are you gonna call it? You know what I mean?
Right.
I know what he's trying to say, but it's also like, well, but the reason why we use it is because like it's nothing else.
Yeah. There's nothing else. It's like and that's something that happens with word derivation over time.
Hmm.
Um,
I also
I
heard
mean,
that Rangers just scored.
wow, Rangers getting a golden opportunity to get back in this series. We'll be following that closely. Yep, it is 1-1. I've confirmed that.
Wow, 7 minutes to go,
Yep.
tied up.
Yep.
Sorry, where were
But
we? Oh yeah,
well,
no,
we're talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
this whole
yeah, yeah.
notion of
No,
it.
yeah, I know we are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I also here's the other thing I'm going to say. And this is where I do maybe disagree with Dave a little. And this is where I kind of get into it with some folks sometimes. People tune into you and I, hopefully because they like what we do.
Mhm.
But people also tune into you and I because they want to hear our positions. And maybe they want to hear it because they want to agree with us, or maybe they want to hear our positions because they hate us, and that's okay in either way. But guess what? They're expecting us to take a position on something. Okay, they're not expecting us to sit back and basically be a PR arm for promoting the cigar industry. That's what influencers can do for you guys. We're not influencers, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not our intention to be critical. It's not our intention to take anyone down. But if you're gonna, but if BS is gonna be out there and we spread the BS, we look as uncredible as anybody else, and we can't be like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I look, my stance on it has been this, right? It's just I in my history in my time I've learned I do what I do. I worry about what I do. I focus on what I do. There's other members of the cigar media such as
Right.
yourself and a few others that I work with or I collaborate with, like this show, or that I otherwise engage with, and we help each other out. And for the most part, most of us get along and we help each other in some kind of way, and that works. But at the end of the day, I also focus on what I'm going to do, and I don't tend to worry. So if somebody wants to comment on like, well, what actually is this? I get it, and it's valid, and I'll give you my response. But when it comes to everyone else, it's like they do what they do, and I do what I do,
Right.
and that's
Right.
really all I can do.
Yeah. But if we it goes back 3 years ago with me when I saw things very, very wrong with what was going on with the trade show. That was CigarCon year. It was a bad year. It was a badly executed trade show, and I just couldn't sit back. What am I? I mean, and I loved. I'm supporters of the PCA. I'm a member of the PCA, and I was horrified what I saw 3 years ago. I mean, it was an embarrassment, and I'll say it even now, right? I had to report what I saw. Now, I think they, at the same time, when they're doing a good job, and they have been doing a good job the last few years, they deserve a lot of credit for that, and they should be given the credit too. But people wanted my opinion. CigarCon was a red hot topic 3 years ago. People wanted my opinion on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's. And remember too, you've also, people want your opinion. Sometimes you give your opinion, you get yourself in hot water too. I've been there. I learned my
We've all been
lessons,
there, and you know what? We're not doing our job if we didn't do that.
and that's the other thing people
But
don't
but it's not
understand
to be
too.
I don't think our intent's to be destructive. and I'm hearing Charlie get a lot of criticism for that article he wrote on the Munchies, right? Yeah, guess
Oh
what?
yeah.
They should be thanking him. No one gave a shit about that product for 3 days until he wrote that article, right? So I mean, he should be thanking him. And you know what? Charlie saw something he didn't like, and he brought it to the attention of people, and good for him. I gave him credit on that.
I thought it was funny. Someone had commented on, so Half Wheel posted a review of the new Cerberus from Aganorsa Leaf.
Hmm.
And I can't remember what they rated it. Did they rate it like 85, 86? It might even be a little higher than that. It might have been like 87. Might have been like 87 or something. I don't know if you saw that. And someone had posted it in the Aganorsa group. And it was like, fuck Charlie Minato. He
Yeah,
wouldn't
oh,
know a
we
good
saw that.
cigar
Yeah,
if
we
it
talked about it.
sat
Yeah.
on his face. And I'm like, I mean,
There were comments that were in there that were beyond. They were horrifying, is what I'll just say.
yeah.
Beyond, you want to criticize someone for not liking a score, that's fine. Don't attack someone personally on that. And I didn't like the way Charlie was attacked on there, and I was very disappointed those comments weren't removed. But it is what it is.
That's true too. I agree. But at the same time, my point just being like, look, like at the end of the day, it's hard. People got to be fair, and the fact of the matter is, some manufacturers put some stuff out, and not everyone likes it. And if you looked at someone who does reviews and everything was a good review all the time, wouldn't you question after a while, like, man, like everything gets a good review? It's like, yeah, that doesn't mean that there's a lot of good cigars. It means that person's not critical enough on their review. If a cigar gets a score that's lower than what you expect, there's a reason for it.
Yeah,
Especially
you-
someone like Charlie. I mean, he does this every day.
right. I mean, we look. We're not here to give every score a 90. When we give a bad score, we have to be able to take the heat that comes with that. And if you can't take the heat that's going to come with that, then you got to get out of the kitchen, right? And here's the thing: there's like manufacturers, and they get a low score. What's the first thing they do, Matt? They'll put up the Facebook post.
Hmm.
We got this score. Thanks for we thanked them for reviewing it, but what do you guys think that we got? We gave this cigar an 86, and what do? You put it right up in you put it right up for your fans. Oh, that's bullshit. This is a 96. And that's what they do. They turn it and they get all that affirmation back. And every one of these guys do this at one point or another, I see. And it's like, come on, really? They know exactly what they're doing with that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It
Yeah, they
happens all the
know
time.
exactly what they're doing. It's totally premeditated. Like,
And I get it too. And Dave Garofalo
oh, those guys are assholes. Yeah.
and Dave Garofalo, it taught me this lesson, very early on too. Is like, one thing you have to remember, is, you're gonna smoke cigars that are not gonna be good, or you're really not gonna like, or whatever. Otherwise, it's gonna be negative, right? But you have to still always be careful with what you say about it, because, at the end of the day, these manufacturers, they do put so much time and care and money into them. It's someone's baby, and so if you're gonna give a cigar a negative review, or if you're gonna, say you didn't like something, you can't just tear it down, and just come after it, make it a bloodbath. It's you also have to keep in mind that when you smoke cigar A,
Hmm.
you have a bad experience with it. You got to take into considerations a couple of variables, and you have to take into consideration that other people might taste that cigar, and it might be the best cigar that they've ever had, and they're
Right.
not going to feel the same way. And it's very subjective, and it's very, when you review a cigar, and that's why whenever I've had a cigar that I did not like, I won't really. In very few cases, I've done this because, and I've had reasons to back it up. But if I don't like something, I'll tell people, hey, I did not like this cigar. If there's very specific issues, I'll explain why. Like, oh, well, I thought the construction was bad, the roll was too tight. I will never come out and say that cigar was just a piece of shit, and that the manufacturer should be ashamed of themselves. I'll never say that. I'll tell people why I did not like it.
Right. I think
And
that's what
I
you want to
think
do. You
and I think it's fair to say that like you and Charlie and everyone else who does reviews, for the most part, that's what they try to strive to do on a lesser
right.
review. It's like, well, it's low, but there was construction issues. It didn't burn right. It was too tight. I had to keep relighting it, and this and that. We give solid reasons why we had a bad experience with that cigar. It's never just like, well, this cigar is a piece of shit. Aganorsa
Yeah.
should be ashamed. That's not really the narrative.
Yeah. I mean, I used to take the approach like a lot of people did early on. If the cigar wasn't good, you know what you do? You don't review it, right? You just,
Hmm.
and you know what happens when you do that? First of all, you create scoreflation with the average scores on your site. But the second thing that happens is you're doing a disservice to people again who want your opinion, who liked what you've done, but they deserve to. If you, as much as you deserve, they deserve to hear what to recommend to them. They want to hear those cigars to avoid sometimes. And what I tell people is read the review and usually make your own judgment on it. Like for example, I'll tend to score a cigar that's very floral, a low score, right? But people who like will read my review and I say, hey, floral notes, this is like a big X mommy. But if you like floral notes, don't this may be a cigar you should give it a try to, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And for me, what I do, because I'm not publishing reviews right now.
Uh huh.
So one thing that I've done, I mean, I know almost everybody in the business now, and I know them on a personal enough relationship where I can reach out to them whenever I need to. I'll try something. I'll try it again, and if
Yeah.
after at least the second time, if I don't like it, I'll actually just reach out to them and say, hey, just between me and you, I had a couple of these, and this was my problem with it. Just don't know if you've heard anything about that, or maybe it was the batch I got. Perfect. I'm not going to say
Right.
what it was, but when Andy Green came on the show, I had told him, I go, hey, there's a cigar that I, a couple years ago, loved it, smoked a lot of them, and then about a year ago, I had a couple from a couple different stores, and they just didn't taste right. They were off, but they were from different boxes. And he was like, really? That's interesting. And I said, yeah. And I said, but I love that cigar. But then, and he's like, that's good to know. Well, thank you for the feedback. And I'll do that, because that's just my way of trying to help and just send the feedback back without going online and trying to make it a thing. And I don't review
Right.
anyway. But I'll be like,
You're
hey,
not reviewing. That's what I'm saying. You're not reviewing.
yeah,
So I think but if I did that, somehow I think I'm disserving my of the review. The audience is tuning in for a review.
right. That's
And I'm
correct.
not saying what you did was wrong. I'm just saying we have a little bit of a different focus here, and
Exactly.
yeah,
There's different things going on. So me doing that is, well, I'm not cheating people out of a review. I don't do them. So I'm just telling a friend in the industry, like, hey,
yeah,
I had your cigar and it was a little wonky, but whatever. I want to see it good, and I don't know
yeah,
if maybe this helps. Oh yeah, or one time I said something to someone about a cigar. I was like, hey, what happened with it? And they're like, something, I heard that from a couple of people. We're looking on it. We're checking the tobaccos, whatever. And I tried to, I was like, oh, just I had another one. It was good. Oh, nice. Okay. Shit like that, and it happens. That's just common conversation. I guess that happens, but that's just kind of
yeah.
how I handle that
It
situation.
yeah. It definitely happens. It definitely happens for sure. I had, for example, I gave a cigar once like a really low score, and I signed this. It's happened twice. I've given a cigar like lowest score of the year, and that company actually ended up becoming a sponsor. And it doesn't mean that they still got high scores after that either.
I've done it to
So
John. I mean, everyone knows I'm very, very, very close to John Carney.
right,
I've had some LFT cigars before, and I'm going to text John like, hey, I'm smoking this right now. Yeah, it's just not right. And he'll either be like, oh, could be a fluke, whatever. Try another one, or be like, oh, okay. Maybe it's because of this and that, or and
yeah,
whatever. And it happens, and a lot of the times I still smoke that line. I don't turn off from it, but I just I like to share the feedback,
yeah,
because you know what, at the end of the day, I know they appreciate it. They do want to hear, as much as they don't want to hear negative stuff. They want people to tell them so they can fix it. I mean, that's the whole idea.
Yeah,
So,
true.
I mean, that goes into it too. I mean, the
Yeah,
reviews. I mean, they go off reviews too because it's out there and it's public knowledge, and then they're gonna soak in whatever it says. But
yeah.
people tell me, hey, I'm having this cigar, and last 4 were like, what the fuck? Nick Perdomo was great about this because anybody, consumer or not, you could message him on Facebook and be like, Nick, I had a 10th anniversary Maduro and it fell apart, and he'll go, I'll send you another one. No questions asked.
No
Hands down.
questions asked. Yeah.
I will replace that cigar for you. And I see it time and time again on Facebook. People
Yep.
post, hey, you know, blah, blah, this, and he'll comment right away, let me replace it for you.
Mhm.
That's great customer service.
Yep.
Hands down. Great customer service. Anyway, we kind of got way off topic here. But Coop, what else did you have on the docket tonight that you wanted to bring up?
Those was it. I mean, it was PCA. It was a whole topic on blog or media or whatever you want to call it. And then you had the collab thing. So I hit everything I wanted to hit tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I tonight was kind of like part 1 of the PCA pregame season. Still a couple
Yep.
weeks out. Our next show will be 2 weeks from tonight. By that time, we're going to be much closer to the show. Probably have some new information.
25th. And then our panel shows the 30th, right?
Yes, let me check on that. So yeah,
Yep.
there will be a panel. So on the Smokin Tobacco show on Thursday night, we are going to have a panel. Coop will be there. I think Ben will be there. I can't remember. I have to check on that. I actually ran into an issue where I can only have so many people on with my program, or it starts to freeze. So I need to look into that first. But yeah, there is a handful. Matt and Garrett, I think, are going to be there. Bear's going to be there. I need to check on that. But yeah, it's the 30th. That'll be a panel with other media members on the Smokin Tobacco show the week before the trade show, and we will have a roundtable discussion. It is also part of our pre-PCA media coverage.
Yep.
In addition to the part 2 of the pregame spare notes coverage, which will be on the 25th, 2 weeks from tonight. So stay tuned for more updates on PCA and stuff that develops between now and then. We'll cover that on that show. This Thursday night on the Smokin Tobacco show, we have Erin Holland from the PCA coming on with us, and she will be making her first show debut. I promised we'll be gentle with her. We'll give her as much information
She's doing
ahead of time as we can.
She's doing a great job. She really is.
She is.
And
I think
she's
more people
listening.
need
I
to
hope
know.
she hears that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people need to know who she is and what she does. And she's also going to
Well,
try to discuss a little bit more about the some of the stuff that she's working on with media in terms of PCA and the trade show, and how they're kind of expanding that. Also, just kind of what to expect if you're coming to the trade show, what changes they've made to the trade show for people who are attending, whether you're a retailer or whoever. Just kind of stuff like that, and to just get to know her a little bit better. So stay tuned for that. That's all part of our pregame coverage for PCA 2022. Really excited. With that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please visit smokingtobacco.com and cigar-coop.com. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.
take care.